What was once the Polk County Courthouse now serves as the Polk History Center and houses the Historical Museum and Library. The museum serves Polk's community through special events, volunteer opportunities, and educational programs. The artifacts on display at the museum represent individuals, cultural groups, and events significant to the region. Each month, they have events planned for every age, and May is no exception. Make sure you stick around for all the details coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm Tina Mann, your host for today, and joining me here in the studio is Murtis Young, the Historic Preservation Manager at the Polk History Center. Welcome.
Tina, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here and talk about Polk County history.
All right, and we got an exciting month coming up in May. We're actually starting out with, some introduction to a new exhibit that's coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this is an interesting time. 2015 marks the centennial celebration of the completion of the Dixie Highway. So we are opening some exhibits and we're having speakers that will help us recapture what that time was like in history. It was very significant for the state of Florida because actually it opened the opportunity for tourism to begin. The footprint of Florida's economy is changing during this period of time. So the Dixie Highway, folks from the northern state and those with a very adventuresome spirit could travel by motor car from the very northern part of the country all the way to Miami, visiting sites along the way. So our exhibits and our Lunch and Learn and our book club, they're all scheduled this month to help our participants go back and visit early tourism in Polk County.
Okay, and where did the highway actually go to? It went all the way from Sault Ste. Marie in Michigan?
Yes, and then to Chicago, and then down to Miami. And it was, you have to use your imagination and think about this as a small highway, not very wide, and there are no motor courts in place at that time. There are no resorts and spas that have been developed yet. So people are traveling on these roads and they find very interesting ways to accommodate their overnight stays. So what they would do is, in their Model T Fords traveling south to Miami, they would set up camps along the way, and these camps became known as tin can camps. So a part of this exhibit is to explain how those camps came about and how travel began, and then to give an idea and a glimpse of the early development of tourism. Those roadside attractions and the motor courts as they started developing, dancing chickens, all kinds of interesting things that drew people to Florida in those early days and just about 1915 and forward.
So as part of this exhibit, you actually have two new exhibits coming. There's the Victory Florida 70 and also the exhibit on Rick Kilby.
Yes, Rick Kilby is a designer in Orlando, and he developed a very beautiful, colorful exhibit that is the opening of the Dixie Highway exhibit. And his exhibit is about, it's the myth of the Fountain of Youth. And for him, and for this exhibit, it tells the story of people coming to Florida in search of that mythical Fountain of Youth. And it's not only the Fountain of Youth that we think of when we think of Ponce de Leon, but all of the other fountains that people came to Florida to visit. And rather than fountains, it's the water and the impact of the water and then what brought people to Florida in search of the mythical Fountain of Youth. So that exhibit opens first, and it'll be toward the end of May. And then the Dixie Highway exhibit will open around the 1st of June and will complement that. And those will be in place for about a year.
Excellent. And all of May's events, well, most of May's events will be revolving around early tourism in Polk County. I know the book club is changing its format a little bit. Why don't you tell us about that?
What we're doing is we're recommending rather than meeting. We thought it might be helpful to just provide a recommended reading that's consistent with what's going on at the museum to help with the learning experience. So we've recommended Land of Sunshine, State of Dreams, A Social History of Modern Florida. And the author is Dr. Gary Marmino, who is he recently received the Florida Humanities Council 2015 Florida Lifetime Achievement Award for writing. So very accomplished author, and the theme of his book goes along with the theme of the exhibit, and that change in Florida's economy, the change in Florida's social history as tourism started evolving. So we hope that you'll read that, and then that prepares us for his presentation at the Lunch and Learn, which comes later in the month. And the will be his presentation on the same subject of the social history of Florida as Florida changed its profile to a state of tourism.
So that's coming up on May 19th. That's
Yes.
From 12:15 to 1.
Yes.
And they're encouraged to bring their lunch and
Yes.
come and tell us a little bit more about the discussion.
Well, the discussion will be primarily about the book, and again, that's his view and his research on the social history of Florida and its changing role as tourism evolved in the state and the impact that's had on the state of Florida.
And what kind of events do you have for the kids to learn?
Well, oh, this is fun. For the Family Fun Day in May, because we're talking about tourism and water and the pleasure and the joy and the search of experiences in water in Florida, we're going to have our children come to the museum, visit the exhibit, and talk about tourism and centered around the waterways in Florida, and then they'll have an opportunity to design a swimsuit for their mother for Mother's Day. Yeah, exciting.
Not quite sure what my kids would design, but they would have a lot of fun with that. So that's coming up on May 9th.
Yes.
And that is from 10 a.m. to noon.
Yes.
Okay. And as usual, we have our architectural tour coming up.
Yes, continuing that. It's a very popular tour. You know, I always have to remind everybody that it is my opinion that neoclassical building is the most significant piece of architecture in the county, and we are so proud when people come and enjoy that tour and learn more about the building and its early days and its uses and then the use today.
Okay, and that architecture tour is May 16th at 11.
Yes.
Okay, and speaking of Centennial, we have the Centennial of Dixie Highway. We also have the Centennial of Davenport.
That is correct. Davenport is one of our cities celebrating its centennial this year, and we are so pleased that it will be the featured city in the Heritage Trail for the month of May, and the story about its early history and the founding of it initially at Horse Creek and what that's about and how that evolved into Davenport. And on May 30th, Davenport will be celebrating that centennial at an old-fashioned fish fry at the lake, which is right behind City Hall. And that's going to be a mid to late afternoon event, movie in the park, fish fry, games, just family fun to go and celebrate the 100 years of Davenport. And I am reminded by our good friends over in Davenport that if you're planning to attend the fish fry, you can purchase your tickets at City Hall in advance.
And we have a special video available on PGTV, the Heritage Trail featuring the Centennial celebration. And one last thing, they have a chance to kind of experience a unique event on May 20th for the reading of the Emancipation Proclamation.
That is, as we transition into, the 1900s, and we are closing the period of the Civil War and closing the exhibit on the Civil War, we are hosting at the courthouse on May 20th at 10 o'clock in the morning on the North Lawn a commemorative reading of the Emancipation Proclamation. And the idea of that is to use that occasion as the closing of our learning about this period in our history during the Civil War. So we hope that a lot of people from the county will come and join us for that occasion. It will be a very special celebration. It is a once-in-a-lifetime for all of us celebration, and it is the 150th commemorative anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. And so we'll have the reading and then invite everybody into the museum to have one last tour of the Civil War exhibit as it was curated to tell the story about life in Polk County during this period of time.
Okay, and coming up in August, on August 15th, is the 70th anniversary of Victory Day. Could you tell us about that?
I'm very happy to say that the History Center is collaborating with the Department of State in a commemoration of the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II. So this is a statewide celebration of the end of that world event. And so we are very, very excited that we will honor and celebrate people, heroes and heroines from our area who participated in World War II. And that exhibit actually will be opening at the History Center late May, and then will be open till the end of the year. So again, it's a way to celebrate the end of World War II.
As always, it's a pleasure knowing all the events that are coming up in May, and the fact that everything that you do is free to the public.
It is.
It's just awesome. And thank you for joining me here again today. And
love being here, Tina. Look forward to seeing everybody at the History Center.
The museum serves Polk's community through special events, volunteer opportunities, and educational programs. The museum's collection includes natural and cultural objects related to Polk and the greater Central Florida area that represent our history from pre-Columbian to present-day eras. The Polk History Center is located at 100 East Main Street in Bartow. They are open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information about the May events, check them out on the web at polkhistorycenter.org or give them a call at 863-534-4386.